Hi, Democrats. Today is Monday, June 13th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Life. Happy Monday. So today is June 13th. So there's a whole bunch of things that we need to talk about with regards to it being June 13th. Yesterday was June 12th. It was the 55th anniversary of the Loving decision, which made interracial marriage legal in the United States. It's only been legal for 55 years. And with the leaked opinion, if it goes through, we don't know if interracial marriage will still be legal in the United States, and that's a little bit crazy. But yesterday was Loving Day in Virginia. Yesterday was also Recognize Women's Veterans Day. So if you missed it, it's not too late. I am sure that they would appreciate your acknowledgement even today. So with today being the 13th, I want to make sure that I point out and make sure that you know that today is the last day to request your absentee ballot in order to get it in time to participate in the election on June 28th. Today is the last day. You can request it on your phone. You can request it on a computer. You go out to the Oklahoma State Election Board website, click on the voter portal, put in your information, and request your absentee ballot. While you're there, it gives you two choices. You can request the absentee ballot for the election that's coming up, or you can request the absentee ballot for the rest of the year. I strongly encourage you to request the absentee ballot for the rest of the year because we have this primary that's on June 28th. And then in some races, there will be a runoff in August. And then we have the general election in November. And trying to remember those days is a little bit crazy, but if it gets mailed to you at your home, that makes it incredibly easy. And while you're out there requesting your absentee ballot, please make sure that you're still registered to vote. Please make sure that you know what your precinct is and where you're supposed to vote, because they've changed them up all over the state. They've changed them up all over the state. In Tulsa, I believe that they renumbered every precinct. And so whatever you thought your precinct was may not be your precinct. I know I was in precinct 78 and now I'm in precinct 87. I didn't move. So go out to the state election board, make sure you're still registered, and make sure you know where you're supposed to vote, right? Because your precinct, not just because they redid the precincts, but they may have lost the agreement. So your polling place may be in a different place. So go out there, make sure you're registered to vote, and request your absentee ballot. Do those two things. You have to do those by 5 p.m. today. It is 4:19. You have 41 minutes, and you can do it. You can do it on your phone. So what's going to be on this ballot? Because it's not everything. It's just the primary. So all over the state, you're going to have candidates for U.S. Senate, the Langford seat, because he is running. So there are going to be 6 candidates on your ballot for that race. 6 candidates. So that's going to be on everybody's ballot if you're in the state of Oklahoma. Governor, we have 2 candidates. So that's going to be on everybody's ballot if you live in Oklahoma. Your congressional person won't be there because all over the state, there won't be a primary for Congress on the Democratic side. Some of you will have judges on your ballot. Some of you will have local municipal elections on your ballot if there is a runoff or if there are multiple candidates. So there's some stuff for you to research, because who knows what to do with the judges if you just now got your ballot. I want to encourage everyone to go out and look at the Women's League of Voters site for your county, because they usually have information. They usually have information for the judges. And then call a couple of attorneys. They know the judges. They know who they want to be in front of. They know who's fair. So we got judges, we got governor, we have Senate races. Now, I've gotten this call a whole bunch. I've seen it all over Facebook. I've even gotten a couple of texts. People are asking me, is this when they vote for Kendra? And I can talk about Kendra because she's the only Democrat running to replace Inhofe. So Kendra Horn is running to replace Inhofe. She will not be on your ballot. That does not mean that she dropped out. That does not mean that her name is now something else. Kendra Horn is not going to be on your primary ballot. She will, however, be on your ballot in November. So don't freak out if Kendra's not on your ballot. That is appropriate. So you will have 6 candidates who are running for Senate. They are all running to replace Inhofe. They're all running to replace Inhofe. Do some research on Inhofe so you know that we got to do better. And then we have 6 very well qualified candidates. So do your research. Then we have 2 candidates running for governor. This is where we narrow that down. And then, like I said, judges and all that kind of stuff. So you will get a ballot no matter where you live in the state. The lieutenant governor and labor and corporation commissioner, if you're a Democrat, they won't be on your ballot because they're not in a primary. So don't think that means that we don't have anybody running. It's just that we don't have more than one Democrat. Same thing if you live in a House district where your candidate is not being challenged. I won't have legislators on my ballot because there's only one Democrat running for House and incumbent Democrat, but where I live. My senator was just elected in 2020. So don't be alarmed if you're expecting to see one on your ballot and they're not there. It could just mean that they're the only Democrat. If they're the only Democrat, they won't be there. And yes, James Rowland, we must replace Inhofe. We must replace Inhofe. So that's what's happening on the ballot, and that's the most important thing. We are 15 days away from that election. 15 days. That's 2 weeks, 1 day. If you haven't been paying attention, start paying attention now. Please, please, please. Please make your plan to vote now. And then include in that plan, taking somebody with you. We all need to show up, and we need to show up in force. All righty. So I wanted to start out talking about that because that's what y'all check in with me for. But I wanted to assure you that the weekend that our current governor did not let us down. We had another weekend pass, and we have another scandal that he's involved in that he directly caused. So just know our governor is doing what he does, causing scandals with regards to, hiring his buddies, firing people who don't like him, spending money that he doesn't need to spend, spending in ways that we don't like. Another week, another scandal by this governor. I don't even want to go into it. It's with the Office of Land Management and what smells like insider trading. And I'm going to say that because I don't have all the facts, but it absolutely is a conflict of interest. It absolutely is hiring of a crony, and it absolutely is people not wanting to be held accountable. And your governor is right there in the middle of it. So if you thought that he was all bogged down with Swadleys and he was going to go sit down somewhere, no, we have Swadleys, we have Epic, we have the wasted COVID money, and now we have CLO. The hits just keep on coming. And I think he's doing it for you guys. I think he thinks, I think some Democrats might be thinking I'm not horrible. Let me remind them that I'm horrible. So guys, I hope you're paying attention. He's horrible. He must be replaced. Democrats have 2 candidates. He must be replaced. All righty. So let's see what else. I guess I can't go the weekend without mentioning the weirdos. And that's the nicest thing I can say because my mama might be watching. But the weirdos, I think they would call themselves the Patriot Front, who crammed themselves into a U-Haul so they can go harass people who were trying to be free at a pride parade. Mind your business. That's all I can say. I do not understand the one person who says, excuse me, there are people downtown having a good time just being free. And talking to another person who says, yeah, that's horrible. Let's all go down there and harass them. And somehow they get 31 people. They convince 31 people to cram themselves in the back of a U-Haul with riot gear to go beat up some people who aren't expecting them. Can you say cowards? But that happened this weekend. And the reason why I feel like I must mention it, because this is another example of what happens when you let extremists run everything. what happens when we're not paying attention, what happens when we're not electing folks who make it very clear that this kind of thing is not okay. It's not okay. If you happen to be laying around the house watching some sports ball, and someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, you want to hop in the back of a U-Haul and go harass some people?" Tell someone. Don't get in the back of the U-Haul. Call the police and tattle. Alrighty. So I spent today with a bunch of Republicans. I spent today with watching a debate between the Republicans who are running for the superintendent of public instruction. So let me start out by saying this. Gina Nelson, Jena Nelson. Gina Nelson is running for superintendent of public instruction as a Democrat. She is a 2020 Teacher of the Year. She currently flies to DC on the regular to meet with the Secretary of Education at the federal level. She travels all over the state. She is currently in the classroom. She wasn't at the debate because this was a Republican debate. I heard some scary, scary things. Guys, we have got to show up and vote. We cannot let Ryan, I love the governor, Walters, and I like making videos in my car, Walters, can't let him be the guy. They talked for an hour, and he must have said, parents know what's best, 133 million and 2 times. It was insanity. It was unnerving and very scary. And I don't have kids, but I understand how important public education is for economic development. And because these are the folks who are going to take care of me in my old age. It was, wow. It was, there was a guy who's on his 3rd run for the seat, who, when they asked him what size of a budget he could be in charge of, he didn't answer. Only one person answered the size of the budget and didn't say how they were spending that budget. One guy said that kids can block bullets with books. Literally, that kids could use books as shields. I'm not making it up, folks. That's what's running on the other side. That's what's running on the other side. Let's make sure that all kids have books that they can use to shield themselves from bullets. One question was, should there be guns? Should anybody who wants to carry a gun in school be allowed to? They all said guns should be in schools, and not just resource officers. They all said guns should be in schools. The least dangerous thing they said was each district gets to decide who can have guns in schools. Please, if you haven't already met her, you haven't heard her speak, you haven't reached out, please do your research for Gina Nelson. We've got to do what we can to make sure that she becomes a household name so we can have some sanity in that office. When they asked about teacher flight, and it was barely about teacher flight, a couple of people pretended like they were going to pay teachers $100,000, and we all know that that's a fairy tale that we're not gonna do right now. Some and a couple of them said, well, maybe we should get people who haven't gotten their teacher certificate. Maybe we should get them in the classroom, for elementary, have them in the classroom. And then in the evenings, they can be learning by Zoom so they can get accredited. I mean, say you don't care about education without just directly saying you don't care about education. That's what I had to sit through and be a decent human being, because, I try to be a decent human being. But guys, we're in trouble. Gina Nelson. And I tell you guys, I try really hard to let you make your decisions and let you be informed, but she does not have a primary. She's the only Democrat running for that office. And it feels like after today, she's our only hope. She's our only hope. So Do some research. Gina Nelson, Jena Nelson. I'm spelling it because it's a little different. Do your research. She's traveling all over the state, speaking at county meetings and different kinds of meetings. If you get an opportunity, go listen to her, because I think that she is who you want to vote for. All righty. I talked longer than I planned to because I had a lot to say. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15. You guys have a great one.